So what happens when the smartest AIs in the world take a final exam? You'd think they'd ace it, right? Well, they all failed. And not just by a little bit. I mean, they failed miserably. Today, we're going to dive into the story of this incredible test, a test designed to be the absolute last academic challenge for any AI.
Okay, so this chart right here, it tells such a fascinating story. See those really tall bars? That's our top AIs. Think GPT-4o, Gemini, just absolutely crushing the standard tests we've been using. We're talking scores in the 80s, 90s, straight A's all around. But then, look way down at the bottom. See those tiny little checkered bars labeled HLE? That is humanities' last exam. And as you can see, the results are, well, they couldn't be more different.
So, to really get why that gap is so huge, we've got to rewind a little and look at the core problem. You see, for the past few years, AI has been on this just incredible winning streak. It's been acing basically every single academic test we could throw its way. And that led to this really interesting issue called benchmark saturation. Basically, our best tests, the ones we designed to be super challenging, were becoming, well, too easy. The top models were hitting over 90% accuracy. It's kind of like if you gave a final exam and every single student got an A+. The test isn't really telling you anything useful anymore, right? We were literally running out of road to measure how much better these things were getting.
So that left researchers with this really big question. If AI has already mastered everything we thought was hard, how in the world do you measure what it can't do? How do you even begin to find its new limits? You need a whole new kind of ruler.
Well, the answer was, you guessed it, you create a brand new, ridiculously hard exam. A challenge so tough it got a name that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. Enter Humanities' Last Exam, or HLE for short. So what is it? It's a collection of 2,500 questions that sit right at the bleeding edge of what humans know. The goal was straightforward but incredibly ambitious. Create the final academic exam for AI, the last one we'd ever need.
And look, this was not some small side project. This was a massive global effort. Think about it, nearly 1,000 experts. We're talking professors, top researchers, PhDs, all from over 500 different institutions in 50 countries. All of them teaming up for one reason, to create questions that were tough enough to finally challenge our best AIs.
Okay, so how in the world do you even start to create an exam that a super intelligent AI can't pass? It sounds impossible, right? Well, let's break down the incredible process they used to forge this gauntlet. First things first, how do you get the smartest people on the planet involved? You offer up some serious cash. A $500,000 prize pool was put on the table. The challenge? Submit the absolute hardest, most niche, most cutting-edge questions from your specific field. We're talking about the kind of stuff that maybe only a handful of people in the entire world would even understand, let alone be able to answer. And what's so wild is the sheer range of knowledge we're talking about here. This wasn't just, hard math problems. Nope. We're talking about things like trying to decipher an ancient script called Palmyrene, etched into a Roman tombstone, or predicting the outcome of an incredibly complex organic chemistry reaction. This is the absolute peak of specialized human expertise. And the process for picking these questions? Oh, it was absolutely brutal. It started with 70,000 potential questions. But here's the genius part. The very first line of defense, the first filter, was AI itself. They fed every single question to the best AI models out there. And if the AI could get it right, boom, rejected, thrown out. Only the questions that stumped the AI, the true AI stumpers, got to move on. From there, human experts refined the surviving 13,000 questions down to the final, toughest 2,500. Okay, so the stage is set. Humanity has built its ultimate exam. Time for the main event, the moment of truth. So after all that work, all that brain power that went into building this supposedly impossible test, how did the world's top AIs actually do? Well, the results are just staggering. Take a look. GPT-4o, it scored a measly 2.7%. Claude 3.5 Sonnet got 4.1%. Even the best of the bunch, a model called O1, only managed to get 8%. Just to remind you, these are the same models that get over 90% on our old tests. On this new exam, they completely, utterly failed.
And this just puts it in such stark contrast, doesn't it? We went from a world where AIs were getting over 90% to a brand new reality where they can't even break 10%. It's a pretty humbling reminder that there's still a long, long way to go.
But here's where it gets even more interesting, because the researchers uncovered something really revealing in the data. See, it wasn't just that the AIs got the answers wrong, it was how they got them wrong. It turns out they suffer from something called poor calibration. So, what does that mean? In simple terms, the AI was saying wrong answers with complete and utter confidence. Imagine someone giving you a totally incorrect fact, but saying it like, I am 100% certain this is true. That's what the AI was doing. It shows this deep lack of self-awareness. The AI literally doesn't know what it doesn't know.
So, okay, the AIs failed. Big time. The obvious question now is, what happens next? Where do we go from here?
All right, now get ready for the twist. Even with these catastrophically low scores, the people who wrote the paper make a seriously bold prediction. They believe that with the insane pace of progress we're seeing, AI models could actually pass the 50% mark on this impossible test by the end of 2025. Yeah, think about that. A jump from under 10% to over 50% in just about a year, that is just wild. But there's a catch. That kind of progress is going to come at a huge cost. The paper makes it really clear that even getting a tiny bit better, just small gains in accuracy, on these super hard problems requires a massive increase in computing power. So the path forward isn't just about making AI smarter, it's also about figuring out how to make it way more efficient. So humanities' last exam, it might just be the last academic test we ever need to design for an AI. It's the ultimate test of factual, verifiable knowledge. But we know that AI will eventually conquer even this test. And that leaves us with this incredible final question to chew on. What comes after this? What kind of test do you give an AI that, for all intents and purposes, already knows everything?